Hello. Procrastination, we all do it. It's sometimes very difficult to get the motivation to want to train with our dog, but that is mainly because of the way that we're actually thinking about the word training. And it can be a big concept if we overthink it and we think that we need to mark off a lot of things off a checklist to teach our dog and then that's it. But really, training is about the journey, because the journey is going to give you the results, and it's not based on actually looking for results. Because when we think about training, the concept of training, it's a lifestyle, it's a mindset, and it's something that continues forever with our dogs, because every social situation, every everyday situation is going to be unique, and that may mean that we might need to manage our dog's behaviour in that situation in a slightly different way than what we may be used to with the current things or skills that we've already taught our dog to do in an everyday situation. So I wanted to talk about, firstly, the reasons for procrastinating and not just starting training with your dog. And the first thing is, of course, too difficult, not sure where to start. We might not be able to see where we can link our skills with real-world opportunities, or we might be missing those real-world opportunities. We might have seen them too late, and so we have to wait for the next one, which then will make us more observant in the future, which is good. But if you're not sure where to start, the best thing to do is just to start promoting calm behaviour in your dog in everyday situations. And that's very easy to do. Simply, just drop a treat next to them if they're sitting on their mat or sitting at the front door nice and quietly, or even if they're just standing there looking at you, or they're standing on leash and you might be chatting to somebody, but your dog's standing nicely on leash. Just every 10 seconds or so, just give your dog a treat, or praise them, or give them a pet under the chin, and just reward them for that lovely behaviour that they're offering. And that way you're going to be reinforcing that lovely calm behaviour in those everyday situations in the future. And when we look at promoting calm behaviour, that is going to be the most important behaviour that your dog will ever learn in any everyday situation. Because when our dog's in a calm state of mind, we're able to then get them to focus on something. We're able to teach them a new desirable behaviour, and their learning pathways in their brain are engaged. So that's a great concept, promoting calm behaviour. That's the very first thing that you should be practicing just in everyday situations with your dog. That's a great way to get you started on your training journey. And remember, it's the journey itself that is going to give you the results. There's no quick fixes, there's no shortcuts. Training is a lifestyle and a mindset, and it's one where it's always dynamic and fluid, and you can incorporate it very easily into your lifestyle and for your dog through all of their life stages, from a puppy to a juvenile dog to an adolescent dog to an adult dog and even a senior dog. So the next thing I wanted to talk about that's a very, very useful concept is providing lots of activities for your dog that will keep them mentally occupied and allow them to perform the behaviours that they need to do, because as a species, dogs need to perform instinctive behaviours, but also activities that let your dog perform the behaviours that they like to do. That might be digging or chewing, or you can see Marco's interacting with a range of food puzzle toys and other homegrown activities that I have for him. And so that's a really important and very powerful concept of keeping our dog mentally busy when we're at home, when we're busily engaged with doing something ourselves. But it's also very powerful because it's a way to help transition our dogs into those times where they may have to be home alone for periods of time. So if we can get them mentally engaged in activities when we're at home, we can then provide those same or similar activities when we're not at home, and our dog will be able to make that mental transition and be able to expend their energy, their mental energy, in a way that's fulfilling, rewarding, and not maladaptive or detrimental to them. And when I'm talking about those sorts of behaviours that could be detrimental, that's they are those sorts of behaviours where they are coping mechanisms, and we can imagine very easily the sort of coping mechanisms that some dogs perform when they're home alone, and that's barking, because they may have separation distress or other underlying anxieties, and that's a coping mechanism. So activities for your dog is an absolutely crucial and powerful thing to include in their daily lifestyle. Taking training one step at a time, as I mentioned, just promoting calm behaviour, just working on that first, giving yourself a week to work on that, and seeing the changes happen just from doing that, and seeing the fruits of those labours, which you will find aren't very laborious, because you will be incorporating that into everyday real-world situations. The other way to start training is just simply by saying yes to your dog, and that's simply rewarding them for the behaviours that they're performing that you find desirable. Example, once again, sitting on their mat, sitting at the front door, standing quietly while you're doing something. You might be unloading the dishwasher or whatever it might be, but rewarding your dog for performing that behaviour. If a loud sound happens, traffic going past, or a large truck might drive past that is quite noisy and it's not something that is common, again, reward your dog for calm behaviour if they don't react to that noise, because then you're promoting that behaviour in that situation where potentially it could be a startling one for them. So saying yes to your dog, actually telling them, saying yes, you've done a really nice behaviour there, and that's great. Rewarding your dog for performing behaviours that you want to see, for desirable behaviours, is very powerful. So those three concepts of simply promoting calm behaviour, providing activities for your dog to keep them mentally busy, saying yes to them, creating that reward loop. And if your dog isn't performing a desirable behaviour, then divert that undesirable behaviour into something that is desirable so you can reward them. And then what you're doing then is diverting that undesirable behaviour back into a reward loop. And I've talked about a reward loop, or the concept that I like to call a reward loop, in another video, and you can check out the link in the description below. So the take-home message for this video is to just take one thing, whether that's promoting calm behaviour, saying yes to your dog for desirable behaviour, providing them with activities. Just take one of those concepts and just start with one of those, and then give yourself a few days or even a week and actually really think about the changes and the improvements in your dog's behaviour and responses to you, because you're ultimately responding to them in a predictable, reliable way that's consistent. And when you work on just one thing and you see those changes and you can see the improvements and the benefits of what you've done, and you realise that it isn't as difficult or as hard or as laborious as you might have thought at first, then that also changes your emotional state, and it also helps you to reconnect with your dog. And of course, the thing that we'd all like to be able to do with our dogs is just have them live in harmony with us. So putting those three concepts into practice in your everyday lifestyle is going to really show you benefits, but it's also going to provide so many valuable benefits for your dog as well. So I hope you enjoyed this short video and you're ready to start incorporating some of those steps that I've talked about into your lifestyle. And I'd be really eager to hear your comments and your experiences in the comments section below. So that's about it for this video, and we'll talk again soon.